So, I think most people have the closest thing to knowing infinity when they come and they look at the ocean. But it doesn't take away, for most people, the fear of death. Doesn't say, I'm infinite, I'm not afraid of dying. What would you say to someone who wants to get over their fear of dying?
When they come this close to infinity, whether it's ocean, forest, rivers, there's a temporary human interruptus where they're feeling at one with life,
yes,
or the abundance or whatever. So at that moment, they're not afraid of death. They're not, yes, anxious. They're not in the future. They're not anticipating. At that moment, they're participating in life. So the idea is to keep participating in life and not worry about the demise of the body temple. To worry, not worry, but to actually be fully participating in your gifts, in your sharing, in your activating of your talents. Because you know what? That love and that expression of your talents, that doesn't die. That vibration lasts forever.
What would you say right now to people who identify as emerging mystics?
It's easier now than it was before for two reasons. One, the earth itself is vibrating at a higher frequency.
Yes.
The shamans tell us that, as well as the scientists who measured the frequency of the earth. So the earth is at a higher frequency.
Okay.
And secondly, you have way more people involved in meditation. Way more people involved in visioning, way more people involved in intentionally growing and unfolding. So that's in the atmosphere. So one, you're not alone. Feel that you're not alone. That there are not only communities around the world, like Agape, but there are people that are doing this kind of inner work. It doesn't matter what you call the inner work. Everyone has a different bent on what they call their inner work. But that's flooding the environment. And that which is flooding the environment is more powerful than the media that's flooding the environment with fear and worry and doubt. And visioning. Visioning is third stage work, where you're not trying to tell the law what you want. Nothing wrong with that. But you're actually asking the question, what is it within me that's trying to emerge? This is a question that if an individual asks an empowering question, the universal presence through law will answer the question. So I would tell individuals to come out of asking disempowering questions. Why me? Who's to blame? What's wrong? Those questions would take you down a spiral of negativity. Ask instead, what is it within me that's trying to come forward, that's trying to emerge? So if, in fact, you realize you're not alone, you have some level of practice, and you ask an empowering question, you'll be kickstarting your unfoldment, you see.
Okay, let me ask what I hope is an empowering question, which is this feeling that I've noticed in myself and in other people, which is I feel the evolution occurring, this raising of the vibration and the being in this stage 4 love, beauty, intelligence state. But I'm not convinced that it's turning into enough effective activism to really bring the kind of medicine that's needed at this time to people. And there's a sense of so much suffering in the world now.
Yeah.
I'm not in a state of suffering. I'm sitting here having this conversation with you, Michael. I feel blessed. I feel happy. I feel lucky. But I feel disturbed by the suffering. I'm upset about it. And I'm not convinced that I'm doing enough.
Right. I think the part about not doing enough, I think that's good. I feel that way as well. I want to do more, but I want to do the more from the space that the timeless, the isness is real. And so that my doing is not being a do-gooder, like many missionaries thought they were doing good, and actually they ruined whole cultures, you know. My doing is actually in alignment with the feeling that you're talking about right here. Or else I'll get in the way. I'll be a beneficent person rather than a beneficial presence. So I have to make sure that my activism is not just a temporary release valve of anger. My activism is actually building something. It's actually bringing something into manifestation, a new structure, a new way of being, new way of speaking, whatever the case may be. So it's a razor's edge. You know, that's what this is. It's a razor's edge. If you go too far on one side, you could be out there doing a whole lot of stuff, but getting in the way. If you go too far on the other side, you may lose your compassion and say, oh, everything's going to be okay. I'm not going to do anything. So I think it has to be a razor's edge where you're being guided as to what it is you're called to do. Now, you may think, you're thinking to yourself, two things come up. One, you need to do more. But I don't think you have any idea what Sounds True has been doing all these years. I think it's like I don't have any idea what Agape's doing. You've touched so many people. You've shifted so many perceptions, which shifted conversations, which shifted actions. You're doing a great job, and you defined yourself a little bit as being dimensionally challenged. But when I sit with you, I can feel the vibration and the frequency of what you just described, that sense of connection. You have no idea what that does in every environment you go into. I think none of us really do, which keeps us humble. Mm-hmm. You know, we stay in gratitude, stay humble, and keep doing it. But that razor's edge, you know, because here we are, we're spiritual beings having a human incarnation. We get an insight, we know that there's something that can't be touched by time. So we don't rest on that. We actually say, how can I serve while I'm in time? And then we have a level of hunger. I'm not doing enough. But we do it from the connection. That's the razor's edge.
Discover on-demand videos and docuseries, explore a full schedule of daily life classes, and become part of an incredible community. At Sounds True One, we invite you inward to find your way your way.